welcome to Actors Anonymous Podcast. I am your host, Sam Quiche. Co-hosting with me, as always, is Mr. Jordan Burbank. Thanks for joining me.
It's great putting up with you.
Oh, man. Jordan will be fun this episode. He's running on about an hour of sleep. Crazy night. And looking forward to having him on the show and his energy.
I hate you.
I love you, Jordan. I love you. I am very excited for our guest today. Ari Stidham is on the show.
That's me. I don't know what I walked into, but I'm very excited for the dynamic that will be driving this podcast today.
Absolutely. Ari is an actor, writer, director, and musician. He also performs music such as DRTV, Dr. Television, plays piano, guitar, and trumpet. He is best known for his role as Sylvester Dodd in the TV series Scorpion on CBS and his role in Huge. Ari, it's such a pleasure.
Thank you so much.
You're such a multifaceted artist, and so this will be a lot of fun. I wanted to talk today about the abyss in everybody's life.
Yeah,
I know we're gonna start off dark.
Let's get there. I'm excited. I want to get in on whatever vibe you're throwing out.
It's a great Sunday morning topic. Most people go to church.
Yeah, exactly. We go jinx, man.
I think it's important though to get real, and we're about to get real here. Book of Five Rings by Musashi. I know I've quoted this book many times on the show, but it's such a cornerstone, I think, for any artist to have to succeed in their life and elevate themselves. This is the Stephen Kaufman interpretation, and there's a section in this book. It's called Reaching into the Abyss, and I'm going to quote the book here. Reaching into the abyss means that you must always beat the enemy in both body and spirit. When you have merely beat the enemy superficially, he may still be able to regain composure and regather his thoughts, thereby strengthening his spirit to beat you. At times, it may be difficult for you to continue your attack when the enemy is not yet in body and spirit, but it is precisely at this time that you must reach into the abyss and bring yourself to the point where you are able to totally destroy the enemy. By reaching into the abyss yourself, you are able to reach into the abyss of the enemy and slay him properly and with the correct execution of purpose. If you permit the enemy to regain composure, then he certainly will attack again. To reach into the abyss of the enemy is to halt any additional attempts on the enemy's part to count the fight. All attacks must therefore be executed with great resolve. This is accomplished only through practice and meditation on the way of the warrior. And why I'm bringing this up in this episode is we've all been there in our lives where it's rock bottom, or we will encounter something like this where we're at the bottom of the barrel, and there may seem like there's no way out, or there's no hope, and there's no way to get out of there. There always is a way. There always is something you can grab onto, you can reach, and you can sacrifice a little bit of yourself to get out of there and become a better you. I know I asked you before if you've seen Red Belt by David Mamet, and you said you haven't.
I have not seen Red Belt.
One of the key, I don't know if motifs is the right word, but it's themes, yeah. There's always a way.
Yeah.
There's always a way, and the story's about a jujitsu teacher trying to stay true to the old traditions.
Sweet.
And in jujitsu, it's like there's always a way to get out of any hold, whether you're like in a headlock or your arms in an arm lock. There's always a way. So just be calm, breathe, and you can find a way. And I love that mentality.
Yeah.
Because it strengthens you. It strengthens the artist. Anything that is put against you, you can handle. You might get knocked down, but you can get back up and you can fight against it. You can overcome it. And I think we need that as artists, especially in LA. And I know I'm getting really pumped up now, but
Getting nervous.
no, I think it's necessary because we as actors, how much rejection do you face constantly?
Yeah, resilience is a necessity. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Sure. Yeah.
You can't let that weaken you.
No, not at all.
It has to always strengthen you.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to be confident in yourself that I may be knocked down, I may be rejected 1,000 times, but that doesn't mean my quality of work is low necessarily. Well, sometimes it might mean that, but if you're doing excellent work and you're practicing, you're learning, you're getting good feedback, man, that must strengthen your resolve.
Yeah, and it's really hard when you're going into auditions and maybe you don't get great feedback, or maybe you go into an audition and you think, oh, I mean, I really killed it, but they just sort of said thank you and they let me go, and then, you know, my agent's not calling me back because it's been 6 auditions and nothing positive's happened. And
Right.
It's like, well, yeah, I have to keep going, you know, whether it's financially or my dream or just the fact that I'm in Los Angeles, like, I must keep going. But saying, oh, getting knocked down actually is like a plus symbol. It's going to make me stronger. It's going to be better. Finding that, sort of mining your failures for whatever your next step is. Yeah, I mean, I think that's a great tool.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm branching out here, but maybe we shouldn't put so much dependency on how our worth is on whether or not we get the audition.
Oh, yeah. Yes, but it's hard to learn that. It's you have to do it. You know? You have to sort of say, oh, I'm, you know, can I say a bad word?
Oh, yeah.
All right,
You can
okay.
say-
You can say, like, you have to sort of say, like, I'm shit in order to, like, it took so long to say shit. You have to say, like, I'm shit before you can ever be like, oh, and this is what's, like, good about me. You have to say, I suck. Why do I suck? Why can't I be better? And when it's not why can't I be better in my craft? It's why can't I be better in how I'm focusing on performing for these people and like letting them in, and they have the power, and that's
Right.
not art.
No,
That's
no,
not
it's
art
not.
at all. You know, that's not why I got into it. It wasn't to please the person in front of me. It was to like get something out and hopefully put my own, you know, spin on it. And if they dig it, then they dig it. And if they don't, that sucks. But you don't dig it. That's okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think it's so important to focus in there. It's like, hey, this is my interpretation. This is my product. Does it work for your story?
Yeah.
And I think having that confidence in yourself and that acceptance, like, hey, I might kill it at every single audition and really kill it, and I won't work because it doesn't fit for the story. And I think once you accept that as an actor, there's a lot of weight lifted off your shoulders, and you become a little bit happier because it can get depressing, you know?
Yeah, it's not about your skill at all. It's not. I mean, it is a little bit. It is for your reputation.
Yeah.
It is for once you get the gig and you actually show up and you're good and you learn your lines and you don't mess around and, you know,
Yeah.
you're not late or what the whole thing of being like the construct of being like a good person to work with, you know, you need to be that. You have to in order to get anywhere after you start working. But
Right.
the beginning of it is just what is this world? Where are my feet? Who is telling me the truth? And you know, it's just
Oh,
you
so well
you
put. I
have
like
to learn. You have to like learn everything is bullshit, and the only thing that matters is like if you hold yourself accountable to be your version of good. Because if you are good and you think, okay, I am the level of good that I want to be, or at least I'm striving to be that every day, you know, you check in with yourself. You have to be you have to be your critic. You shouldn't be the dude who says the New York Times are gonna like hate this piece.
Right.
You have to be the dude who says maybe my piece isn't right for the New York Times, but my piece is my piece and I'm true to it. You know.
And I think a fair and well-balanced critic. You can't like be overly judgmental to the
Yeah.
extreme, or you can't be like, oh, that was good every single time. You can't be like that either.
You understand every aspect of it. It's you.
Yeah.
It's you.
Absolutely. You had. I looked like you had something to say. You're
No,
smiling.
Sorry.
I have no thoughts on this topic whatsoever. No, I mean, I totally agree. As not an actor and more like a writer and stuff, I'm like,
Yeah.
it's a little bit more like getting to that point as a writer is like, I might as well just go out Hemingway style. It takes a while
The
for
Abyss.
me to get to yeah. I'm just gonna fall in.
Well, people really need to give you they need to throw you a bone as a writer and actually take a second to read like that. I mean, every time I send somebody a copy of this radio play or anything that I've written to try, like to my manager or to any of my friends to see like what they want, I'm always like, oh, they're gonna spend time on it.
Yeah.
You know, to look at me for an audition, you could just look at my tape for 2 minutes, but I'm gonna spend 10 minutes at least reading something that's 5 pages. I'm gonna sit down and read it. My friend wrote this, or if I'm actually gonna read it, it's a whole thing. Like,
Yeah.
That's so.
Well, it's crazy.
My heart would just pound like watching somebody read. I have to like not watch.
Oh yeah, no, that's the worst when
Yeah.
you're like, oh yeah, why don't you read this? And they're like, okay, and you're like, not right now. Like go somewhere, lock a door. Like I don't want to be near you. But I feel like it's the same. I mean, in the industry, it's pretty much the same thing. It's like they're gonna read the first page, and if they're like not thrilled by it, goodbye. And it's probably the same thing with like an actor reel too. If you're not actually auditioning or submitting a tape, like they're gonna look at the first 5 seconds, they're going to judge you based on your looks. They're going to judge you based on your performance. If they don't like what they see, they're going to move on.
Yeah. So
I'm sorry, that was a super Debbie Downer moment.
No, but
no. But I think to echo off that, like you said it just now. You know they're taking the time, so why don't you take the time and make the work good for them, and not just give them a piece of shit, so they can be like, you know, it's a respect thing, I think.
Well, I think like that plays into what I was helping you with this past weekend with your last audition. Like, you did something very unique with it. I don't know, is that a trade secret? Should I not? I'm not going to talk about it.
Oh yeah. You can. We don't. I don't think we can say the name since it's like a really.
No, I don't even know the name. I wasn't paying attention that much, but I filmed it. No.
Yeah.
But like the aesthetics, like you changed up things. You didn't have average like fluorescent lighting. You know, you wanted to make it more scene work.
Sorry, go ahead.
And then just, I loved the idea of doing a scene that is basically, you know, what for our audience of listeners, we actually filmed a scene for an audition that was like lit really darkly, and it was also like this, like, can I say it was like a cop scene? Like
yeah, you can. I think that's as much as you can say. It's like a competition, so I don't know. And there was
I didn't know it was
legal.
competition.
Yeah, it's lots of legal
but
rules to it. So I was like, you know
point
what?
being,
Totally.
we did it handheld.
Yeah.
Which was very just different for an audition tape, but it was from my opinion, rewatching it and everything and going through that, I was like, I would be interested in seeing that, because from the perspective, you can look at it as it has high production value in a way that it feels like it could be a scene from an actual piece.
Yeah,
or you get the
artistically
feeling,
driven thing.
yeah, and the other the other feeling I felt was like, it felt like you could be someone in that room because of the perspective and the movement of the camera, that you felt like you were in that casting session.
Yeah, sort of applying that to acting. If you take ownership of a moment in any way, sort of like that camera, high camera, but that camera's there. If this is an audition room, it's similar to where you're sitting. If you were shooting me, I would say this is what I'm doing. I know I'm not going to move much because of the camera, but like this is what I'm owning. I own this. And saying I'm going to just decide it's going to be handheld. I'm going to decide in post. I'm going to put grain on it. I want to mix it like really mono right in the middle of the frame, like how Woody Allen does it, because I want people to like lean in and maybe feel, you know, whatever tactically you're doing with your art.
Right.
Whatever steps you take, you apply that in whatever fashion you need to when you need to show who you are, what you are in any form in this business. You need to sort of put your best foot forward, and the only way you can really do that is by saying, this is my moment, this is my movie, this is my scene, this is mine. And until you do that, it's just sort of, what you want me to do. What do you want me to do? What should I do? I could be a painting. If you don't want it to be a painting, it could be a photograph. It could be a beach. It could be a building, whatever. But you have to take ownership of it. And once you say, this is what it is a painting of two kids, and they're high-fiving over a piece of pizza, and it says 420 on top. They're like, that's not what we want. Okay, cool. That's not what I want anymore either. I made something, you know?
Yeah.
Like, take ownership of it. Make it a thing. If you make a choice, they're going to be happy, because the whole point is, if they could act in it, if they could write it, if they could direct it, they would.
Yeah.
They would. They need people like us.
Defining moments and taking chances.
Yeah. How did you get into the arts?
I was raised sort of, my parents told me, go after the stuff that you like. And so they threw me into literally everything, like sports, none of them stuck, but arts and like anything that was like with my hands I really dug. And with music, like my bio says I play trumpet. I've been signed with my agent for a really long time, like 5-6 years. And so the first like
Sorry.
That's not distracting at all.
No, good. The first instrument I played was trumpet, but it's like I really haven't picked up a trumpet in a bit, but I'm a musician, so I play a lot of stuff. And basically in 2011 I would have said I'm just an actor. It's like the only thing I do. I do music on the side, sort of as like a fun thing, and I have aspirations to be a writer, but I tried to write a couple short films. I was very young. Nothing really took. And then I did this play that we rehearsed it at the New 42 Studios in New York, and it was backed by the like the Dodgers, who are just a massive, amazing production company for live theater. And it was the lead in this show called Facking Up the Musical. I was 18. Everybody else was like 24, 25, 26, like the appropriate age of musical theater actors playing teenagers, and I was a real teenager.
Yeah.
It did not make for a good social experience. I stopped acting like 6 months. I would go on auditions and I just wouldn't learn the lines. I would just I was out of it. I was a kid and I had my dream job and messed it all up. Got fired. I didn't get asked back. I finished the thing. And I did a good job, but I just emotionally was so down in the dumps that I started to do everything else that I always liked to do. And I said, I'm going to take all of these things seriously, because when I took acting seriously at 17, the break happened with the teen soap Huge that a lot of contacts helped me get from my own personal life. But still, if I wasn't good, I know I wouldn't have gotten the show. And so it was that whole take yourself seriously, say I am good enough, why not me, all those things that people say about that stuff. You sort of say, okay, well, logically, I'm 17, I can do it. And then at 18, I was like, well, logically, I can do the thing that you need to do to be good in a musical on Broadway, because I've been singing my whole life, and I, went to ACT Conservatory when I was 16, and I've always been the actor who takes the the method first and says like, okay, how am I going to do this? And I break it down. I'm really a heady dude as far as like art and stuff goes, like learning how to do stuff. Really DIY. I know I'm rambling, but
no, you're not rambling. I'm following you. Yeah. I'm following you.
So back to 2011. So I get out of this show. It was just all messed up because instead of going to college, I went to a TV show, and then I went the next year like, oh, I'm a TV actor, and I really wasn't. I had done one thing, and I was trying to get work. I was very sporadic, and I got this play out of nowhere, and then I was like, I'm a musical theater actor. I'm going to be the next Nathan Lane at like 18. I did the show in Cleveland, like Tumblr reviews, because it was like a very hush-hush workshop production. And all the Tumblr reviews were just like riveted by my performance, that I was like stoked. I did it. Everybody had a terrible, terrible time with the cast, with the directors, the producers, got the phone call, they don't want you anymore in 2011. Down in the dumps, was trying to make my own stuff and kept on failing, but I said, I am going to do it. I'm going to get good at this.
I love that.
I'm going to well, you were talking about the Abyss, and I was like, this was my Abyss moment. It was December, and I officially got the call from the casting director, his name's Michael Casera, and he's amazing. He's a New York casting director. Michael, I love you. You're the best. Still talks to me on Facebook. And he calls me and he says, I can't believe that I'm the one calling you, but I'm telling you that they don't want to move forward with you. They're feeling like it's going to be something different when we do the off-Broadway production in a couple months. And I was like, okay. That's fine. And I know I still like all the guys that I worked with, but, I was an idiot. I was at fault the entire time, and I knew that at the time. Like, I dug my own grave. They are the professionals. I am not the professional. And I just, went to work in the Abyss. I was, in this room above my folks' garage, and I was writing music and writing, one acts, and I wrote short films in iambic pentameter that nobody's gonna see because they're terrible, but
that's
all this stuff.
I'm sorry, in iambic pentameter?
Yeah.
That's fucking amazing, by the way.
You count on your fingers. It's really easy.
It's not really that easy. I know you say that, but it's a skill.
It came from the skill thing. You could do it. If you take a second and you say, I need to write only lines that are 10 beats, that's all iambic pentameter is. And it takes a little bit longer, but you're like, what do I want this line to say? And then you break it down, you do 10 beats. I mean, it's just saying, I want to do something, figuring out how to do it. Maybe it's not the thing that you're supposed to be doing, but saying, I want to figure out how to do it. Getting to the moment where you say, I'm good at this, owning that moment. You can say you did it. You know how to do it. And that's what people that's what makes people interesting people. People I adore. People I look at and go, oh, well, yeah, you were my 8th grade history teacher, but you're also an incredible clarinet player. That came out of nowhere. And he would come in and solo with us in the middle school band. And I still remember that. I still remember people like that. And I say, those are the people that I look up to, who had so many different things that they did. And not somebody who does it professionally and everything they do is something incredible, but I want to be a person who has so many things that they do. It's how do I describe it? He was really cool. I think people want people to think that they're cool, and that's the best way I know how to do it. Might be a little bit too. I want to be thought of as cool, but that's why. That's why. Yeah.
Wow, man.
That's crazy. Yeah, I think the same way. Like I overload myself with far too much stuff, and you can actually get really bogged down in it and be like, oh, I didn't get to touch this week. I really wanted to work on that, and it's just like, you just gotta either you have to just shut up and do it, or you have to just like, I don't know. I didn't know. I lost that thought while I was talking. I was like, wait a minute.
It's true.
But it's like,
because you have to delegate. What's more important?
Yeah.
For me, it was like, what's more important? Do I go and try and make money because I'm running through all my resources? Or do I sit in and, like, get better at playing the bass? It's like what you have to decide to do sometimes. Like, I want to do this thing and just flush some money down the toilet. But,
well, yeah, but it's relative to, actually, we had Tim on a few weeks ago, too, and it was he was talking about, I am just digging myself a grave. I don't know what is wrong with me today. Verbal vomit. Yeah, I'm going into the abyss head first.
It's good. It's a fertile ground.
But he was talking about how when he came here and he started working out here, and, when things weren't going so well for television and all that, he was getting jobs and working in, like, working in every single job and relating that job to acting. And it's kind of like the same thing. Like when you're doing all these different things, whether you want to learn the bass, whether you want to write a script, whether you want to do like whatever it is, it all relates back to whatever you want to do. Yeah. And it helps you enhance it and understand it much better. Whether it's like adding to your resume or just understanding the film process in general.
Very true. Very true. The main concept of acting that I had to wrap my head around to really comprehend it was that I'm a cog. There's nothing more to me than there is to the man holding a boom above my head in the process, because I will not be heard if he does not record the sound. He will not get another job if he messes it up. So will I. It's the same thing. And we're all working because we want the show to be good. Yeah. And, maybe we're getting paid, but we still want the show to be good. There's no reason that we wouldn't.
There's a story that needs to be told with whatever you're doing. And I think we forget as actors that there's a story involved. It's not just about you.
Well, and that's taking ownership of our piece of the story, taking ownership of the character, but also saying it's my duty because I'm the duty. Nice. Duty because I'm the one of the faces of this story, this tale this week.
Sorry, like poop?
Yeah, like poo-poo duty, like
poo-poo duty.
Like caca.
Caca duty.
Yeah.
Poo-poo caca duty.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I had to stop. I had to stop. I'm a young man.
I like how this
what is happening right now?
We've gone to like such heights of like philosophical thoughts, and then all the way into the abyss of caca and duty.
I feel like I just imagined that moment. I don't think that actually happened on the show.
It happened. It happened.
In Musashi's Book of Five Rings, he discusses how important it is.
Does he wear them on his fingers?
Are we still talking about him?
What's that?
Does he wear them on his fingers?
The Book of Five Rings?
Yeah.
No, I think they are more symbolic. Yeah.
Like in Meet the Parents.
Yes. Yeah, exactly like that. So.
I thought they were like a weapon. Just like.
Well, he was a samurai, but I don't think any rings.
Wait, what do you call that?
Rings? Brass knuckles.
Brass knuckles.
Yeah.
Brass knuckles.
Yeah.
In the Book of Brass Knuckles.
Masashi is 16. Sashimi is 18. Brass knuckles.
Sashimi.
He's the knockoff.
He discusses how important it is for the warrior to learn pottery, art, and other crafts. In doing so, he can find universal truths and techniques, applications that can be. I know my voice went up. Truths and techniques and applications that can be used in any field. Have you come across any of these types of similarities whenever you're learning, like, for instance, acting technique, and then you're learning a little bit of the guitar? No, you know what? Let me give you a better example.
Yeah.
Whenever you're learning one musical instrument, and it's your first one, and then you switch to another one, and then you go to another one, it becomes a little bit easier.
Yeah.
There are certain, I don't know, universal techniques or truths or something about your understanding of how the first one you learned, that there's some technique that you can apply to the fourth one you learn.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Absolutely. I think it's like learning how to speak and then learning how to speak in a bunch of different dialects. It's like the language is rhythm first. Mm-hmm. And then once it's rhythm, you can sort of get the melody or the tune you're trying to get out of the instrument based on your own skill.
Right.
But that rhythm that you feel and the tune that you hear in your head, if you sort of say, okay, I'm not going to make it sound exactly as it is in my head right now, but if I can get the rhythm right, If I can get the rhythm right, I'll be all right. And once I get the rhythm, then if I can get the music right, I'll be all right. And some people go music first, some people go rhythm first. I go rhythm first because it's just easier. But that's, it's all about pattern. It's all about sort of what I hear, but sort of pop. I'm like a student of pop music in writing. And because I come from musical theater, it's like I see sort of less going on within more parts. So I see like more stuff happening, or like a lot of stuff happening with like little parts.
Yeah.
Like an octet or something with a guitar, rather than like a huge band with like 12 people singing. It would be like a huge band with like 2 people singing. Sort of that's the type of stuff that I think of in pop. It's different. It's like I'm trying to do different stuff.
Yeah, I think that's great. You worded it very, very well. And then
thank you.
Whenever you go into the second, like into another field, I feel like there's certain things that you can start picking up. You're like, oh, that's similar to this,
Absolutely.
which I never ever expected at all. And I think like I have some background in martial arts, and so whenever it's so weird, like I'm trying to learn an acting technique, I'm like, oh, this reminds me of like a technique in martial arts, in which I would have never connected the two at all. Or writing, or or like I'm learning about directing, and I'm like, oh, that's kind of like acting in this way and that.
Yeah.
So it's very cool how you can like pick up on these universal things.
Well, martial arts is especially, I think, applicable to acting because it's so physical, and the on-camera acting, my technique was trash until I started reading and learning about Alexander technique, which is just anxiety, and your body will naturally do stuff if you're nervous. Even if you don't realize that you're doing it, you'll do it. And that's what is the death of actors sometimes. It's just your own nerves, and you don't realize that your body's reacting to it. It's like Alexander technique is all about your body and being in touch with your body. And I think martial arts is that too, because it's telling your body where to go.
Absolutely. So self-awareness.
Yeah, exactly.
We're going to take a quick break, but you are performing a radio show, correct?
I am. I write and perform in it, yeah.
That's awesome. We're going to play a clip on our commercial break from it, and then when we come back, we're going to talk some more about it.
Awesome, thanks.
Okay, I don't understand why you won't let me in, Lieutenant Garbage.
This isn't just a run-of-the-mill dolly mop on the side of the road.
Then what is it?
It's classified.
Maybe you misunderstand me. I'm a white man.
The secret password.
I know it's scummy, and believe me, the 8 loves of my life have differed in race from black to topo. But sometimes you need to lean into the attributes that God gave you.
I can't talk here, Duquesne. Meet me at this address. 9 p.m. tonight.
Before I could say another word, he'd gone. I looked at the piece of paper in front of me. I'd never been to this address before. Was I crazy for doing this? Opening all these doors for a nun who just stumbled in off the street? I walked back to the office to gather my thoughts, and I found myself standing outside the 6th Street Church. Music played as I slowed my gait and looked up at that gothic behemoth. I changed my nicotine patch and pondered. This place took me back to my youth. Running through the pews, chasing skirts. My first tongue kiss after communion. Building guns with Sister Tracy. Ha ha! To be a young buck again. I wonder if that firing range is still standing. I'm doing this for Sister Tracy. I'm doing this for the little boys and girls out there who need to learn how it feels to hold the hard steel of a pistol resting in your belt loop as you cruise the town you love. Or how to play gin. Or how to drink whiskey straight up. Or make sweet love to a real woman. Big time. To never see her again until your friend invites you over for dinner to meet his wife, and then you think, oh boy, good Lord. You know, stuff you can only really learn from a nun. This one's for you, sister.
Incredible radio show.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. It's a slapstick noir. It's really goofy and out there, and we have a lot of fun with it.
That's wonderful. How did you even come across creating something like this?
Well, I co-created it. I co-write it monthly with my writing partner, Zach Green. And Zach and I have been working together for a very long time. He's a writer-director out of Austin, Texas. He went to film school at Chapman University, and that's sort of when I met him. But he's sort of like an indie darling. I don't want to call him an indie darling because he'll get mad at me, I think. But he's a very amazing, smart, funny stand-up comic, director, writer, actor, sort of overall performer in the same sort of vein of me and my brother and a lot of the sort of millennials coming up now who do a lot of stuff. He's one of those types of dudes, and he's also an amazing editor. But yeah, I met him when I was a teenager, in my late teens, I think 17, 18, and he was 19 or 20. He was in college, and I was sort of hanging out with friends who were also in college, and I might have been like right about to go to college. Yeah. Sort of in that time. And he and I started writing together recently with a couple of projects through my production company, and then this just sort of happened. I know someone who works at the open space where we do it, and I really wanted to perform live, and I really wanted to hold myself accountable to write something. And I really wanted to work with Zach. And so one day we met on a Thursday. We were just meeting about another project, and we thought, like, well, let's come up with maybe a sketch show idea for all these sketches that we've written that we don't really know what to do with. And also a radio play. Let's pitch them a radio play. If they, want the radio play, we'll figure out how to do it. And we pitched them the sketch show, which had, like, intricate sketches. We knew exactly what it was. It was going to be really funny. It was going to be called Green and Stidham Present. On the Boulevard. Green and Stidham Present on the Boulevard. It was really funny. And they were like, nah. And we were like, we got a radio show. It's like a comedy noir radio show. And we talked about that, and we sort of had a main character whose name is Dick Duquesne, like this street in Culver City that's spelled Duquesne, but it's pronounced Duquesne. And they just loved it. The people at the theater, this dude John and Mally, who's my friend, who helps run stuff over there, and they are a brand new theater that used to be Bang Comedy Theater, and I just sort of we knew that they were like looking for material and programming, and they're great. It's on 451 North Fairfax, right by Canners, and it's great. I mean, it's a really dope space, and we do it monthly, and I don't know what else to say about it.
That's great. What goes into production for that kind of thing?
Well, we just started producing our live sound effects. The clip that was just played has electronic sound effects in it, which is what we did for the first show. But this next show on June 20th, we are doing all live sound effects. So what's going on right now in production is my apartment is full of microphones and like a mic rig set up to test all of the live sound effects to make, this one of our producers, Ryan Curran, he built this amazing Foley door out of like wood and a crash box, and sort of everybody who's done like radio who we sort of know, we've already called and like talked about like, how did you do this sound effect? How did you do this one? And it's cool. There's going to be mouth sound effects. There's going to be a bunch of cool stuff. So that's what goes on into production, and we write it usually a month beforehand and just sort of do passes on it, and cast people that we know and we like, and reach out to them personally because nobody's making money off of it, but it's generating some content.
Wonderful. And what's the name? So, is there
it's
a
called,
website?
The Twitter is at Dick Duquesne. It's spelled Duquesne is spelled Duquesne.
Okay.
Duquesne, and it's Dick, like the name Dick, short for Richard. Dick Duquesne, at Dick Duquesne on Twitter, at Dick Duquesne on, I believe it's dickduquesne.tumblr.com, and then I have it right here on my phone. Our social media ladies are insane.
You have a Tumblr too.
We have a Tumblr. Yes. Tumblr is Dick Duquesne Show. There we go. dickduquesneshow.tumblr.com. Instagram, Dick Duquesne Show on Instagram. And on Twitter, at Dick Duquesne. And our SoundCloud, where we will definitely be releasing all of our stuff because we're still looking for other stuff, is Dick Duquesne.
That's a lot of dicks.
A lot of dicks, baby. That's what everybody says when they come to the show.
I think it's great. Like, it's so interesting to me because like that it was considered such a dying art form to do that kind of stuff, and it's just made such a comeback. And it's not just with radio plays in general, but there's a lot of different shows and different producers and stuff that want to resurrect a lot of their content. I know I'm going to geek out a little bit here, but Torchwood, I was a huge fan of Torchwood, and they actually have done a ton of like just audios like samples. So it's just episodes of the actual show, but because they don't have any visual, they can do as big a budget as they want. And it's great. They did the same thing. Rob Thomas did, I think, a Veronica Mars audiobook after the show ended, too.
Because it's a noir, and he can just do it. Yeah,
do whatever he wants.
That totally makes sense. I love John Barrowman.
Yeah, he's great.
That guy's an amazing actor.
I love that show.
Scorpion.
Yes, another
has been
show that
picked-
I love.
And another show has been picked up for season 2, correct? Mm-hmm. And you play Sylvester Dodd.
I do. I play Sylvester Dodd, mathematician, genius, statistics guru, OCD nut, high anxiety haver.
That's a fun character, man.
Very fun character.
How do you is there a differentiating way you approach a character whenever it's for a co-star or guest star as opposed to someone like a series regular or a heavy recurring with more of an arc?
Yeah, certainly. I can speak to this because most of my career before this show was co-star and guest star roles. Whenever I was going out for like a guest star that was for the episode, I would always look and say, what is the theme? What is the character that I'm sort of the foil to in all of my scenes? Like learning, why am I here? For that reason, sort of like what my purpose is within the story. And then a co-star. Normally, the co-stars, I would just say, how do I make this the funniest thing on earth? Because my favorite co-star bits, I can name the actors. Doug Benson had one in Friends in an episode. I'm a huge TV nut. Doug Benson had a co-star in Friends, and he said he had 2 lines. He was like. He asked Rachel Green out, and she was like, no. And then she said something about Bloomingdale's later in the scene, and he comes back and he says, I love Bloomingdale's. My mother calls it Bloomies. But it's Doug Benson, and he just knocks it out of the park. 2 lines. And I thought, that's what I want to do. I want to just come in and make it my own and take ownership. You know?
Yeah.
So that's sort of what I do for co-stars and guest stars, is I say, always story first. But if it's a comedy show, how do I make this the funniest thing on earth? And
Absolutely.
You know, whether it's making my voice sound weirder or whether it's physically doing something, you just make a choice.
Yeah. That's interesting. Because we had a guest on the show. His name is what's his actor name? Because I call him by something different.
Isaiah Adams.
Yeah, Isaiah Adams is his actor name. I always call him Josh because that's how I know him from.
That makes absolutely no sense.
I know. Anyway.
Did he play? Do you know? Is his name actually Josh? And
Yeah, his middle name is Isaiah.
Oh.
okay.
Yeah.
Hell.
I thought you were like no.
Anyway, I went to high school with
Sorry,
him.
start calling you Louise or something.
This guy, I really respect him because he does so much actor work for the smallest roles. And his first co-star on TV, he wrote pages of backstory for his character, and he went into a huge kind of oh man, I could see this character recurring and coming back on the show, and he was really excited, and he had all these pre-planned conversations he was going to have with the director or producers. And when the episode came up, I'm sorry, I die thinking about this every time. It was just literally they filmed him on being on a computer screen saying his 2 lines or whatever, and that was it. Yeah. That was his it was him on TV on a laptop screen. That was it.
And sometimes that's what it is. And that's really every audition I've ever gone out for one of those parts, because the goal is to work as an actor, but the goal isn't necessarily to get that part. You always want to work.
Right.
I never don't want those parts. Don't get me wrong.
No, that's
I never
right.
don't want those parts. But the bigger goal in acting is to get a part like Sylvester, where it's, wow, this character has been thought out by another human being who is good at writing stories, and I can jump in and find sort of holes in where this guy is, and that can be me, and I can let me bleed through, and we'll learn new things because it's a medium where it's serialized, and there's always new bits of the character coming through, and there's ownership. It's just more ownership. It's you've washed the car 20 times, kid. Here are the keys. Give her a run, right around the block. So that's sort of I'd say the difference. But the co-star parts, I would always go in and try and make him the funniest, because you have to take ownership. If you go in and say, I'm going to be very serious about this part because this is a very serious show, the casting directors will respect you, and you might get the part because they just want you to be good. But really, doing a part like that, you should do what you want to do. Yeah. You should go in there and make it you doing it and say, this is, Isaiah playing this part. This is Ari Stidham playing this part, because I've not gotten so many co-stars on CSI because I was too funny in the audition. And it's I don't hate CSI. I'm on an hour-long drama. I'd love to have a part on CSI. But it's it's a dude who works at a drive-thru. I'm going to play him sleazy, and I'm going to do a couple jokes, because that's what I do if I'm playing somebody like that.
Right.
Who's on screen for a second. I want to be really funny.
I think that's a perspective we haven't heard before. And I think it's really interesting. And what I love about our guests on the show, it's they're all offering their perspective. They're all bits of advice, and there's no handbook on whether it's gonna work or not. It's just a different way of doing things. And that's what I love. Everybody's always different. You know what I mean? Because we might have another guest on the show who's like, I totally disagree with that, and that doesn't work for me. You know, like
I know actors who have never acted before professionally, who went through acting school, got their masters in acting, and they're like, no, to auditions like that, no, because I did, Chekhov.
right.
I did Shakespeare. I played all these parts. I'm not going to play Dwayne behind the register. It's like, well, this is a job.
Right.
You know, that you can make it good, as good as you want it to be, but this is a job. And,
Absolutely.
yeah.
I think we should play a game. What do you think, Jordan?
Oh shit! No. I'm just kidding, yeah. Let's play the game. I'm turning on Pandora. I'm sorry.
What's
We
the
don't have
game?
licensing for this.
The game. Well, Jordan is the game master.
Game master. Keep saying it. It doesn't sound weird.
What's the game called?
The game is called Explain a Film Plot Badly. I don't know if you've ever seen these on Twitter.
I'm not,
But,
but I'm excited. I'm an improviser, so this is going to be fun.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do is we have several people on Twitter who have listed really awful ways of describing movies, and you have to guess the movie.
Wonderful.
Sam does not know any of these either. So you both can play.
You know what I'm going to do right now?
Sam's not really good at it.
I'm not really that good at. No, you know what? No, I've been getting better. My voice just got really high. 'Cause
You want to know why?
Getting really defensive.
You reached the abyss with how to play this game, and now you're on the upswing.
I love how the show always comes full circle. You're welcome, listeners. Welcome.
You're welcome.
Go ahead.
Oh, can I?
May
kidding.
you?
I'm going home.
Sorry.
This is at Morgan Gunth 3. An old man kidnaps a little boy and takes him to a waterfall to battle an army of dogs.
Wow.
One more time. Can I hear one more time?
An old man kidnaps a little boy and takes him to a waterfall to battle an army of dogs.
Whoa. This is hard. Holy crap. Do you have
This is
any
a
guesses?
good one.
Can you give us a hint? Because
You need to guess first. I want to guess.
An old man kidnaps a
little boy.
You're gonna say dog.
takes him to a waterfall.
You already said it twice.
A waterfall.
Yeah, the waterfall's throwing me, and then the
You're
dog.
so good at this.
Wait a second. Okay. Battle a bunch of wolves.
Dogs, I think. Dogs.
I can give another clue, but it might be kind of a giveaway.
Okay, don't give it. I have two guesses.
I'm going to say it's the Santa Claus 2 with Tim Allen.
No.
Is it Willy Wonka?
No.
Is it Balto?
No.
Okay.
All right, here is a clue.
Waldo, wow, that's a 90s
On their
reference. That's good.
journey, they meet a friend named Kevin.
Kevin. Oh, Homeward Bound.
No.
Oh, I don't know.
What was you said? Oh, I did.
Whoa! Dogs. That's all I'm really bad at this
Dogs.
game.
Okay. Kevin.
Home Alone.
And Kevin sounds like.
Oh man, no, I'm done. I'm all guessed out.
God, I have no idea.
It's not down.
Oh, it's up.
Yes.
Never saw it.
Because an
What?
old man kidnapped, but you
That's
think
'cause you're
it's
heartless.
a balloon story. Okay, I get you. Are there others?
There are others.
I
Oh,
love
these
it.
are,
I
yeah,
love it.
it's not over.
Let's do it.
Oh man.
It's a fun game.
Overprotective father tries to save daughter by murdering her kidnappers, leaves other kidnapped girls behind.
Oh, I know this one.
So
Taken?
depressing. Yes. Yes.
I thought it was the Lovely Bones for a second.
I was like, I read that and I'm like, oh, that's so depressing. That's so sad. Last one. I thought I did 4, but we only have 3. I'm sorry. Oh, wait, that was... Oh, shit. I lied. Oh, no, it's the same girl. The last one was at Sakura _Hannah Sora. Whatever. Great for you.
Okay.
This is also at Morgan Gunth 3. Girl falls in love with a homeless man, then lets him die because she wants to stretch her legs.
Oh, this is a shot in the dark. Let me know if you have one.
I don't. Go.
Little Mermaid.
No.
Okay.
Girl
Close.
falls in love. She falls in love with Prince Eric.
Girl
Oh,
falls-
he's a prince?
Girl, yeah, he's a prince. Yeah, that's actually not.
I love how you know the name.
I was in love with a girl who loved Disney. When I was 16 years old, I learned far too much. There was a dress-up party. I dressed up. I dressed up as Geppetto because what can you be as a fat dude going to a 16-year-old birthday party for Disney? Baloo? Nah. Okay, I'm just.
I feel like the
riffing
lights
to-
are
yeah.
dimming to a spotlight on you, and
Sorry.
you're about to smoke a cigarette.
Is this real? This story wasn't
A
real.
very real story.
epic.
Very real
Oh my
story.
gosh.
Yeah. So I that's how I know a lot about Disney. It was simply because of that. But okay,
That
here
makes
we go.
my day.
Girl,
The little things. Girl
falls in love with a homeless
with
man,
a homeless man.
then lets him die because she wants to stretch her legs.
Wow.
It's a pretty epic film.
Oh, Titanic.
Yes. Yes.
Ooh, that was a good one.
Right?
I
That
like
was great.
It's like I
That
like that.
was
I
great.
enjoy that.
Wow.
So that is the game.
Wow.
They're so
Wants
they're
to
so
stretch your
anticlimactic. I feel like we need to have like some big dum dum dum.
We should get fireworks then.
bonus round. Can we do that?
we can do that next time. Ari,
Yeah.
dude, thank you so much
Thank you for
for
having
coming on
me.
the show. It's been such a pleasure having you
Yeah,
on.
it's been great.
If there's one piece of advice you can give to the struggling artist, what would you say?
If you can see that it is a puzzle, try to become each piece. It'll just make you better.
Oh, I like that. Very symbolic.
Yeah.
And people, if want to find you on the Twitter, where can they?
At Ari Stidham, both Twitter and Instagram.
Great.
Yeah.
Great. Jordan, you're alive and well,
I am.
breathing. Good
For
to see
now.
you.
Yeah, I survived that underwater. Never mind.
Submarine accent.
No, you're gonna have Hope drown me.
Oh, that's right.
Anyway.
Jordan Burbank 7.
That we have. Yes, Jordan Burbank 7.
Big thanks to Gabe for running the soundboard today and GVB Radio. Thanks very much, Gabe. We
Thank you,
appreciate it.
Gabe.
Nicole is a working actor today.
Oh,
She-
man, I was
she
gonna-
abandoned us.
I was going to say she's no longer
Our
with
time
us.
of need. You killed her too?
You can find me at WeSamKish. And thank you to the listeners for chiming in always. We'd love to hear from you. Hit us up on Twitter at PodcastAA, our Instagram, Actors Anonymous Podcast, or find us on our website, actorsanonymouspodcast.com. Share with your friends. This podcast is for you. We appreciate you greatly. And always remember to listen, think, and then talk.